Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is adverb phrase 23. The adverb phrase today is back to square one. Okay, let's take a look at the note here. If someone says he or she must go back to square one, it means that he or she has to completely start all over again. From the very beginning, usually after a failure, or possibly hitting a dead end where you can't go any further and you have to just throw the whole thing away and begin again. So you have to go right back to square one. Okay, let's continue here. There are three different claims to the origin of this phrase. The first comes from the way announcers used to broadcast soccer and rugby games. They divided the field into different squares, of rectangles to describe what part of the field the action was taking place in. So remember, this was like pre-TV. So they were probably like announcing it on the radio, but people had to use their imagination to know where in the field they were. So they were saying they're in square one, they're in square five, they're in square six, or whatever. And of course, I guess the idea is after the play is over, you begin a completely new play again, it's back to square one. That's the idea. Okay, so yeah, the idea would go back to square one if a new play begins. Even though there is some question about this one, because some people say they don't think they started hearing about this this phrase back to square one until like around the 1950s. Would have been some time after this, but still, yet some people think this is where it came from. Let's continue. The second theory is from board games. There's a lot of board games like, checkers, chess, Monopoly, things like that. Board games, especially snakes and ladders. Well, this one especially, because I think if you messed up, you had to start all over again and you had to go back to square one. So this is another one where people think that it came from this game. So that's the second one. The third one, or the last possible origin, comes from the playground game hopscotch, which is still popular today. Sometimes you see the kids draw chalk on the grounds and they jump in all these boxes, which has a number of squares. Children jump through, usually numbered from 1 to 10. And of course, if they finish it at the end, you got to go back to square one to start all over again. So that's the idea. So there's three possibilities of what people think that this phrase actually came from. Probably could be any one of them. Okay. Let's continue. We got three examples here to show how we use this phrase today. Let's look at the first one. It is said Thomas Edison tried over 1,000 times with different substances to invent the light bulb. And I guess that means he failed 1,000 times too. So each time he failed, he had to go back to square one, just start all over again. So that was something that, remember, Thomas Edison always pushed, was his persistence, to just keep trying and trying and trying, no matter how many times you fail. All right, let's look at number 2 here. The negotiations completely fell apart. We will have to go back to square one to start them up again. All right, this is a very common way we might hear it. And the last one here, that strong typhoon completely destroyed the outdoor project the students were working on. They will have to go back to square one to rebuild it all over again. Okay. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it was clear. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.